Hey Canucks fans, it is gut check time. I'm Clay Emo. I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take on one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, February the 2nd. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. Want to give a shout out to my Hall of Fame members, Jens95, Sim Alexander, Justin Credible, and Nux fan number 29. Thank you. And to all you members for supporting me. And don't forget, if you join now, you'll be entered into a draw to win a $25 gift certificate to VanBase, the Canucks team store. And if you can't or don't want to support me right now financially, that's totally fine too. You're still going to get the same good content. Okay, let's talk about tonight's game. It is gut check time, not my own gut check. I know I check that every day and it's got to be better. But for the Vancouver Canucks, after seemingly some improvements over the past week, 3 wins against Ottawa, a dominant performance against the Winnipeg Jets, the Canucks came out flat last night and admittedly regressed to a lot of their bad habits, whether it was giving up too many turnovers, turning the puck over, giving up too many breakaways, giving up too many odd man rushes, horrible cross ice passes, weak zone entries, poor defensive decisions when it comes to coverage, playing on your own side, not getting the big save. All those things reared their collective ugly heads last night in a brutal 6-2 defeat to the Montreal Canadiens. So yes, we get to play them once again. And think of this, I don't want to think of this, but if the Canucks lose tonight, they basically already lost the season series to Montreal. We're going to play them 9 times and we're 0-3-1. If that becomes 0-4-1, then we're exactly, we basically got 1 point out of 5 games, which would not be good. So on the positive side, I said that the Canucks need to split the Canadian series, win 1 out of 2, take 2 out of 3 from Toronto, easier said than done, add that to the Winnipeg game, and they can still have a 4 out of 6 road trip, but we won't get too ahead of ourselves. We got to focus on tonight. And I do think it is going to be a gut check game, only from a standpoint of the Montreal Canadiens have had our number. Like I said, they've taken 7 out of 8 points, and we simply don't seem to have an answer to their speed, to their transition game. And I don't know if we're giving away the puck more when we play against Montreal. I don't know if it's because they have the personnel that to make us pay for our mistakes more than other teams, or maybe it's a combination of both. And that's a bad combination. Montreal is good, and for whatever reason, we are turning the puck over more. It has to do a lot with their forecheck. It has to do a lot with they can roll their 4 lines over. So, obviously last night, Suzuki has played really well against us. Tyler Toffoli's played very well against us. I'd say Gallagher has as well. I think he has 3 goals in the 4 games against us. And then other guys are, they may not be as noticeable, but they're still good. Tatar, Drouin, Danault, Anderson, Corey Perry has been very noticeable in the couple games he's played. So up front, Montreal is a good team, and they are certainly capitalizing on turnovers. On their blue line, I've always said that we can expose their speed. Shea Weber's not the fastest guy. Joel Edmondson's not the fastest guy. You have Romanov and Mete, who played his first game, and then Petry's okay actually, and he showed me actually a lot last night. He's got a good nose for the net. But the Montreal, Canadiens, they aren't amazing on the blue line, but they certainly play a lot more solid than the Canucks blue line did last night. Let's look at the Canucks. I guess the biggest change will be Thatcher Demko will come in net. Let's talk very quickly about that decision. We knew that Holtby was going to get 1. We know that Demko was going to get 1. Harman Dial of The Athletic said that Travis Green, dating back to last season, almost always put Jacob Markstrom, the better goaltender last year. Anders Nilsson was the other guy. He put Jacob Markstrom in the game where you had the better chance to win to almost guarantee that win, as opposed to putting Jacob Markstrom in the game that you might not win, and then now you're throwing away your best chance to win. So using that theory, I can see why he put Holtby in. If you consider Demko to be better than Holtby, you put Holtby in game 1 where you're facing Carey Price and Montreal's fresh, versus game 2 where maybe you think you have a better chance as the Canucks. So maybe that's why Demko is playing tonight as opposed to last night. Of course, you can flip that reasoning on its head and just say, no, you have a 4-game win streak. Why would you mess with that? Give your team the best chance to win. There was a day in between games, so Demko would have been your best option. But, no point second guessing now. As always said, Holtby did not steal the game, steal a win, but you can't blame him either. The Canucks gave up 40 shots. He saved 34 of them. and he made saves on 3 or 4 stone cold breakaways. Also, probably wanted that Brendan Gallagher breakaway goal back, but there's so many odd man chances. I'm not pinning last night's game on Holtby, yet he hasn't stolen a game for the Canucks yet, which you'd argue that Demko has a better chance of doing. So there's that to think about. We'll see if Roussel gets in the lineup tonight. Jake Virtanen played very well after being a healthy scratch for a couple games. And really, we got to talk about the Lotto line. They have regressed as well. And something's wrong with JT Miller now. I'm more concerned about Miller than Pettersson, obviously. I mean, they obviously go hand in hand, but I am concerned more with Miller than Pettersson. Miller looks disinterested. We saw some videos of a couple shifts where he barely was trying. He made Pierre-Luc Dubois look like he was all-star effort. It wasn't that bad, but it's a little disheartening to see. So maybe after being embarrassed last night, the Lotto line comes out a little bit stronger tonight. And then I guess on the blue line, Jordy Ben and Jalen Chatfield, some really good games, but last night maybe came down to earth a little bit. I can picture a couple times where at least one of them each were caught on the wrong side of the ice on a Montreal Canadiens goal. So I wouldn't say I'm nitpicking. These are things that I noticed. These are things that many of you noticed on my live stream last night. Lastly, I want to talk about scheduling. Not an excuse at all, but I do find it weird that the Canucks have now going into their 13th game in 21 days versus other teams because of either COVID. Some teams have only played 6 or 7 games because of COVID cancellations. Some that in the North Division where there haven't been any COVID cancellations, some teams have only played 9 or 10 games as opposed to the 12. In fact, the Canucks have not had 2 days in between games yet all season. So from the very start of the season, they've either gone back to back or they've gone game, day off, game, day off. But they have never had a 2-day gap between games. Finally, their first 2-day gap will come after the Toronto series. They play Toronto on February 8th, then they don't play on the 9th, 10th, and then they play Calgary at home on the 11th. But it took a whole month to have their first 2-day gap between games, and they're the only team that have done so. That's why they played the most games. That's why when you look at their place in the standings, you have to kind of couch that with recognizing that they've played more games than everyone else, and therefore points percentage, as we saw last year, is the primary determinant, especially if you can't finish the season. So just something I noticed, and obviously it's not good for the Canucks' health, physical health, from a standpoint of more chance to get beat up, less chance to recover between games, and I guess most importantly is not a lot of practice time. And the Canucks have a lot of new players, and they're trying to integrate some new players and young players too. And so the more practice time, the better. So there we go, Canucks fans. A quick preview for tonight. I'll be watching the first period from here at work, skipping my first period intermission so I can drive home safely, watch the second and third from home, and then do my post-game live stream at 7 p.m. tonight, normal time, right after the game, as opposed to waiting 3 hours like I did last night, although the crowd and the conversation was indeed fun. So Canucks fans, what are you expecting tonight? What's the one thing that they got to change to do better tonight? And give me a score prediction. Leave it in the comments below. I'll redirect and reply the best I can. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Become a member of the CCC crew if you like to. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Enjoy the Canucks game. God bless, and go Canucks go.